Jai Shri Ram. So today it is the turn of Canto 69 and 70. So I'll begin 69. Lakshman punishes Ayomukhi for falling a prey to the grip of Kabanda. Ram and Lakshman give way to anxiety. Set out on their journey after offering water to the spirit of the deceased Jatayu as aforesaid and looking about for Sita in the forest, the two scions of Raghu now proceeded in a southwesterly direction. Having moved in that southwesterly direction, the two scions of Ikshvaku, who wielded a bow, a sword, and arrows each, reached an untrodden track blocked by many shrubs, trees, and creepers, covered on all sides, difficult to tread, impenetrable, and dreadful to look at. Passing beyond it with speed and taking to a southerly direction, the two princes, who were possessed of great might, left that vast and most fearful forest behind. Having covered a distance of 2 leagues beyond Janasthan, those two scions of Raghu, who were endowed with great energy, penetrated into the dense Krancha forest, which wore the hue of a mass of clouds and looked highly rejoiced on all sides, adorned as it was with beautiful flowers of various colors and inhabited by herds of beasts and flocks of birds. Eager to behold Sita, a princess of the Videha territory, they explored that forest, halting here and there when exhausted, distressed as they were due to abduction of Sita. Then, having travelled 2 leagues in easterly direction and leaving the Krancha forest behind and seeing the hermitage of sage Matanga midway, the aforesaid two brothers, Sri Ram and Lakshman, for their part, sighted the dreadful forest adjoining it, which was infested with many fearful beasts and birds and thickly set with trees of every description, and which was all full of dense clusters of trees. Reaching there, a cave in the mountain, which was deep like Patala and eternally enveloped in darkness, the two sons of Dashrath, tigers among men, beheld not far from that cave an ogress of gigantic form and hideous appearance. The aforesaid two brothers, Sri Ram and Lakshman, found her there to be a source of terror to men of deficient strength, loathsome and grim of aspect, with a protruding belly and sharp teeth and a hard skin, fierce and tall of stature, given to devouring fearful beasts, her hair dishevelled. Approaching the aforesaid heroes and saying to Lakshman, who was walking ahead of his eldest brother, "Come, let us revel," caught Lakshman by the hand. Nay, embracing the darling of Sumitra, she spoke to him as follows: "I am Ayomukhi by name and a veritable acquisition to you, while you are beloved of me. O valiant Lord, you shall revel with me throughout this long life of mountain defiles and on the banks of the river." Drawing his sword when spoken to as aforesaid, Lakshman, the destroyer of his enemies, for his part angrily cut off her ears, nose and breast. Her ears and nose having been lopped off, the aforesaid ogress of grim visage for her part screamed loudly and ran away as she had come, marching forward vigorously when she had left the two brothers, Sri Ram and Lakshman, the slayer of their foes, reached an impenetrable forest. When joined palms, Lakshman, for his part, who was endowed with great energy, full of courage, possessed of good conduct, and pious, submitted as follows to his elder brother of fiery spirit: "My left arm is steadily throbbing, nay, my mind is feeling perturbed as it were, and I also behold mostly evil portents. Therefore, follow my advice and get you ready to meet the pending peril. O noble brother, the portents unmistakably and definitely betoken imminent danger to my mind. The most frightful bird, known by the name of Vanjulaka, is emitting a shrill cry, foretelling, as it were, victory for us in an encounter." While the two brothers were vigorously exploring the whole of that forest in this way, a loud noise arose, rending the aforesaid forest as it were. The forest was enveloped as it were in a storm. From the heart of the forest there arose a sound, making the whole forest resound as it were. Seeking to find out the cause of that sound, sword in hand, Sri Ram, for his part, with his younger brother Lakshman, beheld an ogre of vast proportions and distinguished by a broad chest. Both the princes approached that ogre stationed before them. Colossal in size, the ogre consisted of mere trunk without a head or neck and having his mouth in the belly. Covered with sharp bristling hair and tall as a big mountain, he possessed the hue of a blue cloud, was ferocious and had a voice resembling thunder. Endowed with a single fearful reddish yet fiery brown eye, both long and wide and bright as a flame, located in a forehead in the center of the chest, nay, furnished with long lashes and possessing a good vision, the ogre was licking again and again his enormous mouth, set with a big teeth. The ogre devoured the fiercest bears and lions as well as other beasts and birds, stretching out both his frightful arms, each 8 miles long, and seizing with his hands bears and other beasts and flocks of birds of various kinds, he drew towards himself many leaders of herds of deer and cast aside others. The ogre was stationed blocking the way of the 2 brothers when they drew near him. Thereupon, receding to a distance of 2 miles, the 2 brothers looked on the great ogre, Kabanda by name, who was cruel and terrible, a mere trunk as it were, encircled with arms and most fearful to behold by his very constitution. Stretching his extensive arm at full length, the mighty armed ogre forcibly seized the 2 scions of Raghu together, seizing them with his grip. Though armed with swords and wielding strong bows and possessed of great strength, the 2 mighty armed brothers of the fiery energy were reduced to a helpless plight when being pulled by the ogre. Of them, by virtue of his firmness, the heroic Ram, for his part, did not feel distressed at all. Due to his puerile nature and feeling of helplessness too, Lakshman, however, completely gave himself up to agony. Nay, feeling despondent, Lakshman, the younger brother of Sri Ram, submitted as follows to Sri Ram: "Look at me, helplessly fallen into the clutches of the ogre. Having offered sacrifice to this ogre, with me alone managed to escape from the clutches of this monster. O scion of Raghu, offering me as sacrifice to the devil in the form of this ogre, run away at your convenience. You will recover Sita before long, such is my conviction. Nay, getting back the rulership of the earth inherited from your forefathers and installed on the throne, O Ram, you should always remember me there." Spoken to as aforesaid by Lakshman, Sri Ram, for his part, replied to him as follows: "Pray do not give way to fear, O valiant Lakshman. A man like you would never feel dejected." In the meanwhile, the cruel and mighty armed Kabanda, the foremost of demons, spoke as follows to the aforesaid 2 brothers, Sri Ram and Lakshman: "Who are you with shoulders like those of a bull and wielding large swords and bows? Having reached this dreadful region, you have fallen within the range of my sight by will of Providence. Reveal the purpose of your visit here and declare for you have come here." You have reached this region while I stood oppressed with hunger, since armed with bows and swords and arrows, and as such appearing like a pair of bulls with pointed horns, you have speedily approached me. Your life is now difficult to get back. Hearing the aforesaid challenge of that evil-minded Kabanda, Sri Ram spoke as follows to Lakshman, whose mouth was getting parched: "A calamity which threatens to terminate our life has befallen us without our being able to recover the aforesaid darling. While we had already suffered a terrible disaster in the shape of the loss of Sita, which was more painful than the one we had already undergone in the shape of loss of sovereignty and exile to the forest. O Lakshman of unfailing prowess, Very great is the power of time spirit over all living beings, O Lakshman. Look at yourself and me too, O tiger among men, disastrous, distracted by misfortunes. Surely the control of destiny on all living beings, O Lakshman, does not constitute a burden to it. Caught in the grip of time spirit, even valiant and mighty souls, nay, even those who have practiced archery on the field of battle, perish like dams of sand. Looking at Lakshman, the son of Sumitra, who looked miserable while speaking, as aforesaid, the highly illustrious and glorious Ram, who was possessed of unflinching and unfailing prowess and exalted valor, presently collected his mind by himself. Thus ends Canto 69 in the Aranyakand of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. Now we come to Canto 70. After deliberation with each other, Sri Ram and Lakshman sever the arms of Kabanda, who extends his welcome to them. Seeing the aforesaid two brothers, Sri Ram and Lakshman, standing there encircled by the cord of his arms, Kabanda for his part spoke as follows: With your wits come to an end, destined as you are by fate to serve as my food, why, I wonder, do you for your part stand motionless even on seeing me, oppressed with hunger, O jewels among Kshatriyas? Hearing the aforesaid question, Lakshman, who was stricken with agony and had made up his mind to fall upon his prowess, presently tendered the following opportune and friendly advice to Sri Ram. This vile ogre promptly caught hold of us at the very outset without any provocation from us. Hence, let us quickly cut off his vast arms with our swords. The gigantic ogre, whose prowess, inasmuch as he is unarmed, resides in his arms alone, is frightful. Indeed, having thoroughly conquered the people, he actually seeks to make short work of us. Like the slaughter of animals brought in the course of a sacrificial performance, killing those who, being unarmed, are defenseless, is reproachable for a ruler of earth, O royal sign of Raghu. Enraged to hear this talk of the two princes, and opening his fearful mouth wide, the ogre for his part now proceeded to devour them. Extremely delighted, these two scions of Raghu, who knew the proper place and time for an action, severed his arms from his shoulder with their swords alone. With alacrity, Sri Ram, who stood to his right, severed his right arm with his sword vehemently without any obstruction, while the heroic Lakshman, who stood on his left, cut off his left. With his arms severed, that mighty armed ogre dropped down thundering like a cloud and making the heaven and earth as well as their quarters resound. Afflicted to behold his arms lopped off and bathed in a stream of blood, the aforesaid demon inquired of those two heroes, "Who are you?" While the said Kadamba was inquiring as above, Lakshman, who was endowed with auspicious bodily marks and possessed of great might, introduced him to Sri Ram, a scion of Kakushtha, as below. A son of Dashrath, he is known by the people by the name of Ram, and know me to be Lakshman, a younger brother of the selfsame Ram. Exiled to the forest when his installation as Prince Regent on the throne of Ayodhya had been interrupted by his stepmother Kaikeyi, this Ram continued to range the great forest of Dandak with his spouse and myself. While the prince, mighty as a god, was dwelling in an uninhabited forest, his consort was carried away by an ogre. Seeking her alone, we have come hither. As for yourself, who are you, and what do you do? And what for do you roll about in the forest like a headless trunk, with your shanks broken and with a flaming mouth located in your breast? Rejoiced when spoken to in these excellent words by Lakshman, Kabanda for his part made the following reply, recalling the assurance given to him by Indra as going to be detailed in the following canto. Welcome to you, O tigers among men. By stroke of good luck, I am able to behold you, and luckily enough for me, these arms which served as a halter to me have been cut off by you. Now, hear from me, even as I truthfully relate to you, O tiger among men, how and through what insolence this monstrous shape actually came to be acquired by me. Thus ends Canto 70 in the Aranyakand of the glorious Ramayan of Valmiki, the work of a rishi and the oldest epic. Jai Shri Ram.